I know that you're working very hard to make sure that this war will end and that there will be first and foremost security for the people of Israel as well as for the people of Lebanon. And in Gaza, we have 101 hostages over 400 days. I know, Mr. President, that you're day in, day out actively seeking their safe return home.
That was the president of Israel today, Isaac Herzog, meeting with President Biden at the White House just moments ago. This is today marks the day that the U.S. had imposed this 30-year deadline. It ran out today to improve humanitarian aid, food, water, fuel, medicine into Gaza. Secretary of State Tony Blinken and Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin had written a strongly worded letter, an ultimatum really to Israel, listing concrete measures they wanted Israel to take within 30 days to improve this. The U.S. is really under the Lay Act, command of Congress, to scale back military support. A UN-backed report this week warns that northern Gaza is facing imminent famine. Joining us now from Tel Aviv, NBC News international correspondent Raf Sanchez. So, Raf, we've just gotten a readout of a meeting between, of course, Prime Minister Netanyahu's close political advisor and aide, Counselor Ron Dermer, here late yesterday. And it indicates they're not cutting off aid, that there will be no policy change. It says that Blinken urged the importance of making concrete changes and ensuring that these changes lead to actual improvement on the ground. Clearly, from your reporting and all the other reporting, the UN's reporting, it has not so far. And the Secretary underscored the importance of ending the war in Gaza, which they've been saying, and bringing home the hostages and starting to work towards a future for Gaza. So this is what they've been saying, and it isn't new, but it's new in the context of this deadline is coming and passing today, and they're not going to cut off weapons.
They're not going to cut off weapons, Andrea, and I think in retrospect, it was pretty clear the Biden administration, more than a year into this war, having supported Israel at almost every stage, was not going to cut off weapons. The Biden administration did want to see an improvement in Gaza. I can tell you over the last sort of 72 hours or so, the Israeli military has put out this flurry of announcements saying they're opening new crossings into Gaza. They are allowing certain small number of trucks to go into northern Gaza, where there has been basically no food going in for weeks now. So the Israelis clearly determined to do something, even if it's superficial, to make it appear that there is improvement. But there has been perilously little aid getting into Gaza over the last month or so, according to almost any metric you look at. 8 humanitarian organizations went through the criteria that the Biden administration set out in that letter last month, and they say Israel has clearly failed by those criteria. They say Israel not only failed to meet the U.S. criteria, but took actions that dramatically worsened the situation on the ground. And we're hearing from the United Nations that there is severe risk of famine in northern Gaza, where Israeli military forces are operating once again, as they have many, many times in the past throughout this war. They say that they are rooting out Hamas fighters who have regrouped in the area around the Jabalia refugee camp. But many Palestinians fear that basically the goal of this operation is to permanently displace the Palestinians of northern Gaza, force them to head south, and potentially pave the way for Israeli settlements in the north of the Strip. That's something the Israeli government denies as its policy, but I can tell you there are a lot of people on the far right in this country right now who believe that with the Trump administration, that might be something they can revisit. Andrea.
Thank you, Raf Sanchez. And of course, time is running out, and if they had won the election, if Harris had won the election, it might be a different posture right now. There might be a way to ramp up pressure. And we should point out that President Isaac Herzog, as I know you know, is not in the Netanyahu camp at all, and is considered a strong ally and a strong advocate for ending the war in Gaza and bringing those hostages out, as you heard him repeat in the Oval Office today. Raf Sanchez, thank you, as always, for all your reporting. Thank you.